Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Gut Solution. I am Maral Salerno, and I am the founder of The Gut Solution, and I help people resolve their chronic digestive conditions so they can live freely without pain or dread of the toilet. And I am joined here today by Erika Lord, my lovely, lovely client. She is a super, super busy lady. She has her own micro school. She manages our daughter's dance school. She's involved in her church. She is an amazing mother, an amazing wife, and she is a friend to so many of us. So I really appreciate her giving us her time and sharing her story with us. And yeah, I'm just super excited for you to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah. So I wanted Erika to come on here and share her story with you guys because it's been super inspiring journey. We started together just about a year or so ago, and Erika has made some crazy, amazing revolutions in her health. And I'm just gonna let her take the stage here for a moment and share with you guys kind of where she started off. But why, first of all, Erika, did you decide to come and talk to me and even maybe decide to do this work?
So I want to say that you and I knew each other for about a year before I actually knew what it was that you did. And the girls at the dance studio were in the lobby and they were brushing their very long, beautiful hair. And I was admiring it. And I told Gisela, your daughter, that I wanted hair like hers, that it was just long and beautiful. And she said I needed to do what her mom did. And I said, well, what does your mom do? And she says, nothing. And I was like, well, that doesn't help. Like, what does she do? And she goes, well, go pull up our website. And so we went back to my office and we pulled up your website and I started watching some of the videos that you had posted and doing a lot of reading. And then I found you on Facebook and I was watching some more of the trainings and different things that you had. And then I reached out and I was like, okay, I think that I need to visit with you because I have issues and the doctors can't tell me what, like how to fix them, what's going on. And prior to that, no, 10 years ago, this March, so last March that we had, I contracted bacterial meningitis, strep pneumonia. And they said, so 1 in 3 people survive from this disease and that form of meningitis. And they said that if I did recover, not enough people survived to know what the side effects would be. And so when I would go to the doctor and say, like, I have no sex drive, they're like, well, let's do some testing. I'm like, could this be a side effect? And they're like, we don't know. And so everything that I was experiencing, so the first year after I lost, my body quit making hormones. The next year I had heart issues. It was just like every year there was something else huge that was going on. And by the time I was 40, I had a cardiologist, I had a neurosurgeon, I had like all these major people that I never thought that I would have to have until I got older. And none of them were finding real answers to what was going on with my body and why I was having so many different issues. I was having major weight issues. Like I got up to probably the highest I'd ever been when I got with you. And um, I couldn't, I couldn't lose the weight. I would try. I'd do like every crash diet you could think of, and my body'd be like, oh, here's 3 pounds we'll let you use, but we're going to gain 8. And so I just kept going on this huge roller coaster. And when I was watching your videos and your trainings, and I think the one that really pulled me in, and I don't remember the name of it, you probably would, but you talked about how your intestines and your gut actually work. And when you eat something that it doesn't like, how it falls through the cracks and then your body attacks it every time you eat it. And I thought, well, that could be everything that I eat. And that's just those that was the video that I was like, I need to call you and visit and we need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just the fact that you almost die and your family is like freaking out, and then you come back to life and the doctors still can't figure out what is going on with you is just, it's the most frustrating thing. And that's really what I talk about with people is it's not, I'm not here to like poo-poo doctors. It's just the way that they're educated. It's what their schooling is. Their two tools are drugs and surgery when there is an emergency. So we do need
Right.
that. But when it comes to like getting root cause answers as to why something is happening, to prevent it or mitigate it or resolve it and take care of it, that doesn't always happen very much at all. And
No.
so it's frustrating. And I think too, for you, one of the most frustrating things that I remember you telling me is like, okay, you go to the doctor and they're like, you need to lose weight, so eat right and exercise. And you're like, well,
I am, and it's not working.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah, it was a big one. Luckily, my primary care physician, when I went and talked to him about doing your program, and he's like, I'm game. Like, keep me informed. Whatever you need from me, let's do it. And so I was very blessed there. And yeah, it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey. I was very resilient at the beginning. I think I was like, so in our process, we learned that I can't do gluten, and that was like huge for me because I loved gluten, and it took me. I My sister-in-law is celiac, and so I was familiar with different gluten-free recipes and different things like that that she could and couldn't eat. So on the weekends she'd come to the house. We made sure that we had everything that she could eat, and so we ate with her and it was fine. But I was like, a lifestyle of this? No way. Like I couldn't do it. And then that was like the first thing that you told me, and I was like, "Oh, I can do this. I can do this." But I was still like my mindset hadn't really changed on it at to begin with. It took several months, probably 6 months, 8 months before I was really like, oh yeah, I have to do this because it hurts if I eat it. And like and you taught me the tools that I needed in my toolbox to make my body feel better and be tired when it's supposed to and go to sleep like it's supposed to. And I went from not going big potty like maybe once or twice a week to going big potty every day and sometimes twice a day. And that was huge for me. And as my family would just tell me, "Oh, that's normal. You don't go potty every day. Like you just don't." And I was like, "But that's crazy." And my husband goes 3 times a day. Like, how come I can't? And so since that was one of the big things is when we started changing my diet and giving my body the things that it needed, it was like, "Oh, let's go potty every day." And so that was one of the first big ahas for me.
yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but one of the tests that we ran for Erica to look over her sensitivity to wheat is something called a wheat zoomer. And it does actually look at something called leaky gut too, which I talk about a lot. But in there was actually a marker that was also giving us some information about how wheat was influencing her mood. And that was a big
Mhm.
thing for you. So I don't know if you want to share that a little bit.
Yeah, I was cranky a lot. I was tired a lot and I just couldn't figure out how come everything had to be done by me. I was tired of a lot of things. And once we started eliminating that, it was like not that I juggle more now than I did a year ago, but I can actually juggle it now and it's not overwhelming like it was before.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the other thing that was really amazing too is, Erica, you were on a couple of medications. Um,
I was on a depression medication and I was on one for my allergies because I had severe allergies. And I stopped taking those 4 months ago completely. So I take no medications now. So that was huge.
that was super huge. And, she was on an SSRI, and those are no joke. So she's just you've done an amazing job of like being able to
Thank
come
you.
off all these things, not have any dependency on any of the medications, like, you know, you're eating well and weight loss. I mean, can I share with them? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So Erica was at 233 pounds when we started, and today she was telling me she's between 187 and 188. So she's lost about 46-ish pounds. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
And I remember when she started, right? I remember when you started losing weight within those first few weeks, and you were like, is this for real?
It was. Well, and the other big thing, and I remember just before you said that, is I used to drink Coke Zero all the time. Like it was a staple. I had to have one all the time. It was cold, it was delicious. I can't drink them now. I drink lots of what? I say that I can't drink them now. I want one, but then I take a drink and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't, I just kidding. I don't really want that. And I drink a lot of water, a lot of ice water and water. I drink a lot of water. I used to never drink water.
And you drink a lot of water with electrolytes. That's another thing that you enjoy.
I
So
do, and the tea, the is it the thistle tea?
the nettle tea.
The nettle tea. Yes,
Yeah.
I really like that as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So big changes. I mean,
Yeah,
going from pop and to like water and electrolytes is just the level of detox that's happened in your body is massive.
yes,
I'm remembering another thing that was pretty big for you, and I know that it can pop up from time to time still, but you're not really getting any more really cold sores unless you have a massive
mm-mm.
stressor that just took you over.
Right. And I used to have medicine that when I could feel it come on, I could take that. But you're right. I didn't even think about that. I haven't had one in a really long time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So, it was really all about looking at your gut. And of course, yes, we looked at your hormones and we looked at other systems of the body. But when we looked at your gut, we could actually see that streptococcal species, that bacteria that influences the meningitis that you had. There was also some other bacterias that were present and some imbalances. So we just like got to work and Erica just jumped in with her whole self because, she really didn't know what to expect, but she just wanted to get better.
I did. And I didn't know what to expect. It was all new, but I was out of options anywhere else. And so I was very grateful that I was admiring the girls' hair that one day. And your daughter was very brave and like, just do what my mom does. And because now I have those tools that I need and I feel so much better. I really do. And even in the process, we learned that one of my daughters can't do gluten, that she too has an intolerance and it hurts her the same way that it does me. And so that was something we never would have figured out if we didn't start this journey. So no, I'm very grateful to you and to your daughter and will always be in my heart because I feel good and I've learned the things that I need for now to be better and to do better and to take care of myself. And that I think as a mom, that is the hardest is to take care of myself. And even though it's a reality, we all know we have to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of our family, but we just get pushed to the wayside. And in this process, you've taught me too that it's important that I take time for myself. And so I do that every day. I have an hour blocked out that's just for me and my kids and my husband all know that that's mom's time. And I think that's helped a lot with me juggling with my mental status, with the ahas and the realizations that have come about in this journey also.
Yeah, I think too. I think you were also surprised about that too. I remember we did an exercise that, I'm sure we all always need to revisit, which is to what are the things you actually have to do? So do it, delegate it, ditch it. And
Yes,
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
It is great. It's one of my favorites. I've even passed it on to other people that are like, I just have so much. I'm like, oh, Marl taught me this really awesome thing. You need to do it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's powerful. I think it's probably one of the biggest tools that all of us need. And you were just, really highlighting that as mothers, but just as people, like modern day lifestyle is nothing but busy and complicated, it seems. And so I think really looking at what do we absolutely need to do, what we can let go of, and what can other people participate and help in to make life better for all of us, if we're living in a household, so that we're not meant to be overburdened with tasks all day long. That's not
Right.
how we were designed. So we need to get into our rest and digest, right? Um, okay, let's see. What do you think? I mean, you've shared a lot of things that you've learned, but what do you think has been one of your biggest like learning ahas, or maybe if there's a couple of them? You've highlighted quite a few. So just curious.
So it really took me a long time for the gluten free. It really did. Mainly because I was like, oh, I can use all of my recipes that I already have and we'll just cut things out. And it wasn't that simple because there was a lot of things that it would sneak into that we didn't realize it until I didn't feel good or my daughter didn't feel good. And then we'd like start reading the label even more. And it doesn't just say gluten, it's like hidden into these other words. And so then I had to figure out what all those words were. And so that one was probably my hardest one, but definitely has gotten easier over the time frame that we've been working. And still, when we like it's still just we have to pay attention to it. That's the biggest one. I really feel like the water's made a huge difference. We do a lot of distilled water, and my skin's not as dry. I don't feel thirsty, if that makes sense. Like before I would be like, oh, I need something to drink. And now I'm like, here's my water. I'll take a sip here and there. And I don't feel like I'm craving that thirst, which I think is kind of another big one. I love that I'm not taking any medications. I've never been a person that has wanted to take medications, but when things were so bad, they're like, no, you have to take this to get better. And I was like, but I don't want to. And they're like, but if you don't take it, you're not going to get better. And I was like, oh, I should probably take it then. And 6 years later, I'm still taking it and I'm not feeling any different, but I'm still taking it. And so that was a huge one too, is to really do the research on it and see what other alternatives I could do instead. Um, I think those are my two big ones. I had to really look for new recipes, which you were very helpful with in the beginning. And I loved that. But there was a point, and I want to say it was about 6 months ago, where it just all clicked in my head. And it was like, no, I'm a big girl. I can do this. Like, and I started, I was like, sugar cookies. We love sugar cookies. Okay, let's find a gluten-free sugar cookie. And so I had to start doing some of the groundwork for myself. And I think that was really when that aha was for me,
Hmm.
is that big girl, I can do this. So
And you own it. Yeah, you feel like
yeah,
it's your own. Yeah. And I think, you were saying this, but I want to highlight it too in another way, which is that you've learned how to be your own detective.
Mhm.
So, like, oh, I gotta like read these labels. I have to ask these questions. Like, I have to do these things. And I think reading labels isn't that big of a deal for most people. It's just a matter of like they need to do it and they need to know what's there, and then they make the choice. But I think one of the biggest ones too is like being comfortable enough to ask questions when you're at a restaurant about food, and not you don't you're not being rude, you're just asking questions. But I think everybody gets all uncomfortable about doing that sometimes. I don't know if that was the case for you, but I know that happens for people. So they just like want to go to get along kind of thing. And it's, you're paying people to feed you, so you don't want to be paying them to be hurting you. You want them to
Right.
be giving you food to heal you. And so yeah, I think you've become a really good health detective.
Thank you. And that was a big one too, is eating out because we used to eat out quite a few nights a week because of our schedule, and we don't anymore because we can't. And well, my husband can, and there's a few places around us that I could, but it's just easier to eat at home. And my family's been really good, and even our extended family, like for Thanksgiving and stuff, they're like, Erica, what can you eat? And so they'll make sure that like the turkey's good and it's all gluten-free seasonings and the butter and like they are very accommodating in that way, which is awesome because I know a lot of people don't have that support. So I've been blessed there. Um, but for the most part, it's just easier to take our own food or to eat before we go. And we've got a ward Christmas party on Sunday, and we are taking our own food. And I'm making a dessert for the ward, but it's going to be one that we can eat. And then that way we can still take part in the festivities and be around our friends, but we won't come home with belly aches.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that when you guys would go out to eat, it was like you'd get immediate diarrhea, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to leave the restaurant without racing to the potty.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are having more resiliency now where that doesn't happen, but you're also making better choices.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I'm so stoked for you. I am very grateful that you were willing to come here and share with everybody your experience. The gut is tied to every single system in the body. And so if you can really harness its power, and get everything running like it should, all the other systems of the body really start to function like they should. And weight starts to come off and mood issues just start to balance out, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah,
It's
I'm,
huge. It's huge when you feel good. It's a good feeling.
it is. So, okay, lastly, what would you say to people who are on the fence about doing the program?
So I like how your program's set up because you have the two different options. Like you said, I jumped in. I'm like, nope, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to spend the money and we're in it for the long haul and this is what we're going to do. Um, that was my outtake is I want to get better. I know it's not going to happen overnight and this is just the process. And so I would think that if you're on the fence about it, it's a hard one because for me, I visited with my husband and he was kind of on the fence and I told him, I said, I'm at a loss. Like I have no other options than to try this because we had no answers for anything else and I didn't feel good. And when I told him that, he was like, okay, let's do it. And I said, but I want to do it like the long haul. I'm in it to figure it out. So we're looking at like 6 months to a year. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And so I had his support also. I think that if you do anything short term, you're not going to have the results. So if you're going to do it and take the information, apply it to life and to the reality of how did I feel yesterday compared to today? And how did I feel? And we had to do that a lot. I would have something to eat and I'd be like, how does this make my body feel? There's a lot of detective work that was involved, but I think that if you've hit the website and you've hit the Facebook page, you've found Marl, there's a reason. There's a reason that we are pulled to you and we just need to commit and do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you guys were all here to get to hear Erica's story and her journey through the Gut Solution program. And I wish everybody blessed health. If this sounds like something that you're really ready to move forward on, please don't hesitate to message me. You can reach me through the Facebook page, the Gut Solution Facebook page. You can reach me through the website. You can also go through the website and just schedule a qualifying call with me where we can just review and go over and see if we're a right fit for one another and what is going on with you for me to get an idea of what's going on. So yeah, please don't wait to take care of your health. I think that's what Erica is really getting at because the longer that you wait, the more things build and tack on, and the more challenging it becomes to resolve them. So get started as soon as you can, because life is too short, and without your health, you can't do anything else. You feel crummy. So thank you again, Miss Erica.
Thank
Um,
you.
yes, you're a beautiful, beautiful example, and I'm thrilled for all of your achievements. You've earned those all yourself. So I will see you guys all again here soon, and bye for now.